on our podcast show this week, we are going to be covering some catch-up items that we haven't been discussing in March, including some Cybertruck woes and also a little bit of GTC. And some tech stories that we need to know about that we haven't touched on, but we do need to discuss and we do need to unpack just a little bit. But first things first, why was I away?
You were at the GTC. Explain to me, what is GTC?
So GTC is NVIDIA's developers conference. That's where NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang will walk out, do a freestyle on what's happening on their roadmap for the next 3 years. And he said 3 years is a very important metric because he says that the AI space is going to be rocketing up and people need to know what the roadmap is. So he actually announced the roadmap for the next 3 years, including Vera Rubin, their next latest generation platform, and also the developments in Blackwell, as well as some photonic technology that will actually link everything together and make things even faster.
Photonic technology, because years ago, I'm talking years ago now, and what's better than, the chips they made of interconnects, right? The copper interconnects. Yeah, so you're bound by physical wires, right? And trace lines on your PCB, right?
Yeah.
Copper. So years ago when I was a kid, I was thinking, well, what's faster than having copper interconnects and copper transfer data and electricity and all that kind of stuff?
That's light speed.
Light. So photons and lights. So holographic chips. Where was that found first? Remember? Star Trek.
Isolinear chips. Yes.
So yeah, photonic chips, holographic chips. So we're going to be seeing that because that's going to be light speed data transfer.
Yeah, I was actually at this event.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it actually, but first let's talk about another matter. It seems that stainless steel panels have been flying around on interstates and highways all over North America, and I wonder why that is.
There's only one car that does that.
Stainless steel flying off everywhere. It's got to be a DeLorean, right? It's got to be some stainless steel monster that's flying through time, and all the panels are flying off because it has to travel at 88 miles per hour. No, that's not why. The Cybertruck has been recalled. In fact, almost all of them, with exceptions to serial numbers, but over 46,000 of them, pretty much all of them, have been recalled because of adhesives that are not working to glue the panels onto the vehicle.
What are they thinking of? They're gluing metal together.
They're gluing metal to metal. How is that going to work out? Right?
I don't think that works.
Did they not learn anything from SpaceX? I mean, you kind of have to rivet the things together, do we not?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, it won't look as cool. It won't look as cool. But, the way that they designed the Cybertruck is not like the DeLorean. The DeLorean was actually more or less one piece. Yeah. More or less, right? So the fact that those panels are glued to a thing and it gets hot and cold and hot and cold all the time, that hangs out, outside, that you have to put through a car wash, which they say don't do it.
How are you supposed to clean it?
How are you supposed to clean it, right? Are you supposed to do like bar mop all over it? Like
hand wash.
How? Hand washing the thing, right? So that's not tenable. That's not. So it's an impractical vehicle that is now having one of the worst panel type recalls that cannot be updated with a software update. I mean, panels flying off a vehicle, that's pretty dangerous, especially if they're stainless steel, and especially if they're traveling 65 miles per hour on an interstate.
Oh, higher speeds, yeah. So it is very dangerous. I mean,
I wonder if it's injured, maimed, or killed anyone. I haven't heard that yet, but maybe that's coming.
It affects your aerodynamic as well. So, I mean, you're going to be losing power, of course.
If you have a hole in your vehicle, yeah, absolutely. There's going to be air going through it. But yes, it required Tesla to actually divulge their real sales numbers, which, are very close to 46 to 47K, because it appears that almost all of them are affected.
I think they rushed the production.
You think?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, they rushed it.
Well, even Sir Elon has admitted. Sir Elon, is he Sir Elon? No, he was actually kicked out of the Royal Society, so he's no longer a Sir of any kind. Recently, so Elon came up with the Cybertruck design on a Joe Rogan podcast while smoking up. He's like, "We're going to design a thing that looks like this." I think that's
didn't
true.
They shoot an arrow like live on the show?
No, they threw a shot put at the window and it cracked because it's supposed to be bulletproof or something like that. Well, anyhow, most of them are recalled, cannot be fixed with software, have to go to your Tesla dealer to actually have all the panels re-glued, replaced. And I'm not even sure that that's going to be a permanent fix. This may be a continual issue unless someone actually rivets all of the panels onto the aluminum body.
It's going to be problems with it. I mean, I've seen those trucks quite a lot actually in Richmond.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
Oh yeah,
floating around, and they just turn heads, and that's about it.
Yeah,
do you know how heavy that thing is?
Oh, it's a heavy vehicle.
It's like 3 tons.
It's a mother.
It's a 3-ton car or truck. I don't know what you call it.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. It's double the weight of a normal car, and it's just I don't know. It's just ugly, to be honest with you.
A lot of people tend to like them, but at the same time, a lot of the people that actually do like them are actually huge Elon fans.
But we're also hearing stories of Cybertruck owners having their Cybertrucks, damaged and defaced and graffitied up.
I understand that, but let's focus on the tech. Let's focus on the practicality and utility of the vehicle.
Yeah,
it is not a utility vehicle. It is not practical in any sense. It's basically a very big car that looks unique.
Yeah, it doesn't do truck things.
It does truck things very poorly based on all of the truck things that we've seen it try to attempt. In fact, normal trucks have been pulling them out of truck thing areas. So does it succeed as a truck? No. Is it cool to drive around in? Yes, there are many things that are cool to drive around with. Drive what you like, but calling it a truck of any kind, probably not a good name for it. Maybe a hybrid utility vehicle of some kind. That might be more thing, but definitely not a truck, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't even. It's not even an SUV.
Yeah, it's a bit of a polarizing thing for many reasons.
It's a hybrid.
But anyhow, if you do have a Cybertruck and you haven't heard the news, you may be getting a recall note from your app that says that you should probably immediately take it in for some service. It's probably going to be rolled out slowly over the number of owners out there, which is over 46,000 sold within world numbers. Or at least North American numbers.
North American numbers.
Yeah, because this is a North American recall specifically.
Yeah.
So, keep an eye out on that, and hopefully your Cybertruck doesn't hurt anyone in the meantime. Moving right along. Speaking of Tesla, some trouble in the news recently with Tesla and some sales. It was reported that over $43 million in rebates were issued to Tesla vehicles over a weekend in Canada, as the amount of money in our EV rebate program was depleted by the federal government, which is a program by the federal government.
Right.
So 300 to 5,800 vehicles were claimed all of a sudden over a weekend.
Over the weekend?
Yeah.
In like one weekend?
Yeah, 300 to 5,800 daily were claimed over the weekend. And it appears that what has happened is that Elon's company decided that they want to deplete that fund by quickly selling all of their vehicles, as because the program was ending. They wanted to quickly sell as many vehicles as possible to claim up to $43 million that was left in the program by selling it to a shell company, selling it to a holding company.
Oh, isn't that like literally fraud?
It is fraud because the rebate explicitly states that you can claim up to 10 rebates per company. One company, one legitimate company, registered owner and whatnot. You plan to drive them and use them for purposes of business, or one individual rebate per person over. I think it's once a year. They may have changed that recently, but when I was buying a vehicle, it was once a year. So you can buy a new vehicle every year and get the rebate, right? That's why people were flipping a lot of Teslas in the past. Probably not doing that anymore because of the drastic decrease in value that they have recently been afflicted with. So this now the Canadian government has basically said no more Teslas, period, and they will not be eligible for rebates in the future.
Yeah, I heard about that. Nationwide, they're going to stop the rebates on the Tesla only, though.
Tesla only.
Any other electric vehicles, okay.
Yep.
Apart from Tesla, because of course, you know what happened like a couple of weeks ago with the tariffs and everything, and
And this isn't retaliation for the tariffs specifically,
Yep.
but at the same time, though, this is a punishment for defrauding the Canadian government, and rightfully so. You shouldn't be doing that. You've taken basically rebates away from people who legitimately wanted to purchase another vehicle that isn't a Tesla, because once those rebates run out, you don't have access to them anymore. That's it. The money is finite, and when you buy a vehicle, if that you may actually get a bill back on your invoice if the dealership is too slow to file that.
So they're selling them to a shell company. Are they gonna? Is that shell company reselling those cars again?
Don't know, but you can't do that.
Yeah, and if those shell companies are selling them on again, that'll be it's literally fraud, because you're taking that money away and then you're actually selling it.
You're not supposed to do it that way.
Yeah,
10 per company.
Yeah,
that's more than 10.
Oh yeah, of course.
One per person. One per Canadian. That's more than one.
Mm-hmm. So
they're investigating every single one individually.
So that means Tesla in Canada would be I'm guessing they'll probably get into trouble.
They're already in trouble.
And
as I stated, they are no longer eligible for any rebate programs moving forward.
I'm talking about also legal stuff against them.
There may be some legalities moving up as well too, because when you commit fraud in Canada, and it's publicly so, and it's this big, there's gonna be some issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so mess around and find out. Okay, moving right along. Let's talk about GTC a little bit. We've got
so GTC is GPU technology conference or something like that.
Sure. Or green technology conference. Why not? Because Nvidia's colors are green. So this is the conference where all the developers, everyone that is associated with developing for the CUDA platform, any of the AI platforms, come out, hang out, and figure out what the future holds. This year's event was probably the largest of all of the events so far. In fact, it was so big that Jensen is calling to expand San Jose.
Wow.
Make the show bigger in some way. Gotta make San Jose bigger. Rumor did have it that they were trying to move it to Las Vegas, but honestly, I really like San Jose. I think the area has a lot of very intelligent people.
Is that south of San Francisco, right?
Yeah, it's down further.
South of.
Yeah, because we had to drive up to get to SFO.
Okay.
So we flew into SFO. We drove down to San Jose, which was great. So in San Jose, I don't know if this is if you've ever been to San Jose, at least in recent years. San Jose is one of those places where everyone is very technical.
Oh,
very technical. Even the barista, even your Uber driver will have opinions on which LLM that they like the best. That they have preferences on this, right? That they can discuss in a very meaningful and very intelligent way. Like what the pros and cons are, how I like using it for my business or whatever, or my life. And these are very smart people in this area, right? And even the advertising is slightly different, because the advertising is actually basically directed towards CTOs, companies that are looking for AI or technical services, right? So the billboards are not just about food or not about, going to, like this restaurant off the interstate. This is literally selling you AI services and cloud services right out of the airport at San Jose, right out of the airport at San Francisco.
So it's similar to, like, if you go to Vegas, it's all gambling, slot machines, and you go to the airport, there's slot machines everywhere, right?
Yep.
Go to San Jose, it's all tech stuff.
It's all tech.
Okay.
Maybe it was specifically targeted, but right outside the airport, as you drive out towards San Jose area, drive towards San Jose and in the city, there's Ames, which is their one of NASA's bases. There is a high performance computing platform out there, which is serviced by HPE. There is Amazon. There is like AMD's offices out there. Like, there's so many offices out there, including a company that I found out about recently, Cerebras. They actually have the wafer scale architecture, which is basically a huge wafer that has all of these CPUs, or it's a GPU, RISC cores, all interconnected into the huge wafer. Right. And that's cooled that way. So that's another technology that's in Sunnyvale, California, which is about 20 minutes away from San Jose. So just so much tech in one place. So when you go there, when you go to these events, be aware that you're going to be in company that might actually be a lot more intelligent than you are.
Yeah,
by a lot. I'll give you an example. We were talking about photonics earlier on.
Yeah.
Which is like light, right?
Yeah, photonics,
light to send fiber optics, right? Basically, in a nutshell, right? Fiber optics. So I was at this Nvidia event, the Canada night, and they had all the Canadians, all their partners, and everyone in one place in this very Canadian part of San Jose.
That's a quick question I want to ask. So Canadians. Yep. Anything with the Americans? We
don't talk about that because I've heard some stories about Canadians actually saying something that is not flattering to the American government, and they actually immediately had their Nexus cards pulled. So I will not comment on that at all. Okay. So I'm not saying nothing.
Okay.
All right. Because I want to keep my Nexus in my trusted traveler, because just in case I want to go back. So anyhow, I'm not commenting on that. But what I will say is that when we were at the Canada night, it was funny. There was a BMO nearby, Bank of Montreal. There was also a spaghetti factory nearby. Okay. So this is very Canadian part of San Jose. Like a little slice of Canada right there. And we had it at this bar that was something 72. For Canadians to actually go back and know about the hockey history, 1972 was when Canada and Russia played the Summit Series, and then in a spectacular win, 43 seconds before the buzzer, Canada won against Russia.
Wow.
This was one of the most historic and dramatic wins that Canada has had over one of their adversaries. Right?
1970 something.
1972, right? So U.S. was already out. Canada and U.S.
Well, Canada's always been extremely good at ice hockey.
Oh yeah,
they're one of the top sports. Isn't it national sport?
It is. It was one of our national sports. Lacrosse is the other one. But I thought it was very. Interesting and also very. I was honored that Nvidia would think to this level to actually have such a great venue that had the 72 in it, that was in a part of San Jose that was very Canadian, with a BMO right across from there, with a spaghetti factory right beside it. So awesome. And it was quite honestly, it was probably one of the best parties of the entire event.
So versus the CES, this would be a better show for you anyway?
No, I would say that this is different. Every show has a different focus, right? So to say that one is better than the other is not fair. It's actually not even comparable.
So this would be a different focus, different type of show. But which one you enjoy more? I just say.
I enjoy them for completely different reasons. They're not comparable. Okay. Right? It's like if you go to a bar that's watching football, you have a good time because everyone else is having a good time. Football is just the background.
Right.
Right? Does that matter? Does football matter?
It depends.
It doesn't matter, right?
For example, my experience in CES versus Computex, I didn't like I didn't like CES that much, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That's my experience. I would prefer Computex. And if you ask for about years ago about CeBIT, and then they had CeBIT back in Europe, CeBIT was like,
Okay.
But yeah, I in terms of experience, I think Computex was a little bit better than CES. And I just asked the same question about whether you enjoyed, which one you enjoyed more. So
I don't have a enjoy more or anything. This is just different. I enjoy differently.
Okay.
I think that the different levels of what I get out of it is completely different, right? Here in San Jose, I spoke to people that knew exactly what they were talking about. So I enjoyed the conversation about high technology and learning from everyone there.
Yep.
It was a completely different experience. It's like going to university, talking to a very engaged professor, and he taught you something and you want to hear more. Different than going to CES, where I'm like, oh my God, this robot has an arm and it's picking up my socks. Completely different experience. I enjoy both.
Do they have like consumer people there as well, or
no? It's all enterprise.
Enterprise. Yeah. No public, no consumer.
Not really. Okay. No. If a public person went, they would basically be overwhelmed with things that they could not understand, because the level that they spoke at was above a consumer level device. You would never touch these things as a consumer. It would be a product of the end product that you would actually interact with.
Basically the back end stuff which you don't see as a consumer.
You talk to ChatGPT and create a Studio Ghibli image of yourself, but this is the stuff that was before that. This is the stuff that powers all of that so that you can talk to ChatGPT and ask for that image. So it is not something you touch. Like most of the stuff you will never, ever see, touch, feel, or experience except for the UX.
So the only consumer side of things that people would kind of understand would be the GPUs, right? That for gamers from Nvidia.
They didn't even talk about that, so there would be no connection to that at all.
There was nothing about that at all? Okay.
No.
So,
the only GTX 5090 stuff, RTX 5090, RTX 5080 stuff is that if you're attending GTC 2025, you actually had an opportunity to buy 5090s and 5080s from the gear truck, but you had to show them your badge, which you already paid $1,500 for.
And they have to buy that on top.
Yeah, because you have a chance to buy it.
A chance to buy it.
So you have to line up in the morning between 7 and 11 o'clock for a chance to actually buy a GPU. Or you go to one of the educational conferences and events, right? They're inside, right? So the value that you get is completely different, right? What I did notice is that, and this is a funny thing, and this tracks with some of the things that we were talking about recently about DeepSeek and some of their GPUs and where they got them from. I did notice a lot of people from, that looked like us, that may be from a part of the planet that may be banned from buying Nvidia GPUs. They were actually lined up, first people in line.
To get the chance to buy them.
Get the chance to buy them, because then they can take them home to wherever that is. And they utilize them. And then maybe on eBay, we'll see some PCBs that actually have no more RTX 5090 GPU or memory on board. And maybe that might happen. But we will see. We will see. So they were very adamant about it. In fact, there was this one guy. He was like, "Hey, you should release all the GPUs to us because we were waiting in line. We have meetings." And then the Nvidia person is like, "So go to your meeting." Like,
what's the security like there? Heavy security?
Police on all the corners.
Because those GPU accelerator AI chips, they're not cheap. No. But we're talking like
it's not
hundreds of thousands, right?
It's not about it's about keeping the guests safe.
Oh yeah, keeping the guests
right?
safe, of course.
Because in every and unfortunately, because a lot of people in Silicon Valley are former, like VC, high on the hog, living the life, .com boom people that, and like a lot of them still hang out in the area and they keep pitching.
Okay.
So they're still there. So they're trying to get in.
What's that guy? Napster guy.
Oh, Sean Fanning?
Is he?
I have no idea about that. But you do see a lot of people that want to kind of infiltrate these events and keep pitching their ideas, right? Because they've never stopped. I've seen a couple examples of that. Okay. And it's both interesting but also sad sometimes because their ideas are so bad. I guess never stop pitching. But anyhow, GTC in a nutshell, total enterprise. Everything that you see, you will never see if you're a consumer. But if you're a tech head that's in the space in AI, this is basically the Wild West. This is the .com all over again. If you go to an event like this, you'll see a lot of things that are similar to the .com boom, where you see 20 people thinking that they're rapper for an LLM. They look all the same. is the one for you, right? I think that the collection of all these things will probably be amalgamated in a matter of time.
Yeah,
right?
It's going to be one or two dominant players.
Yeah.
Nvidia's taking a step ahead.
So hardware, they also introduced quantum technology, quantum computing. Nvidia recently, unfortunately, this did ruffle some feathers, but Jensen did say that true, like real world computing for quantum computing is about 10, 15 years away. He was quickly put into place by the quantum computing companies that were out there doing the work. So part of the event was to make peace with this community because of the fact that NVIDIA are partners with these companies because they are the reference benchmark, and also they help design these computers, right, with their equipment. If you don't want to make your customers mad or angry, because they're using a lot of GPU power to design the next quantum computers, right?
Oh yeah.
So they had an event. They put them on the panel. They asked all the questions. They tried to figure out, precisely where quantum computing would end up, and it's actually closer than one might think. Probably more like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, 5 to 10 years. We'll see them.
Okay,
it's just a matter of it's a matter of time.
Yeah. But if you want to see something that might make it to your house sooner rather than later, with a funny omission, is that Robotics. will be one of the things that Nvidia will be focusing on. Not only just like robotics in general, but also AI robotics, and then applying that information to real robots.
Yeah.
So one of the robots that Jensen showed off, and I want one of these in my house, is one of the Star Wars droids.
Okay.
Called Blue. They are walking around at Disneyland, Disney World right now, and these are actually powered by Nvidia GPUs, and they're very intelligent.
Okay.
Right? They're cute. Like you think Aibo is intelligent because he's a dog that chases his own ball? No. This thing will actually listen to you and understand your commands and then actually act on them because it's a learning device.
Okay.
It has I think it has 2 DGX Sparks inside of it, or two Jetsons maybe. And it's powered by 2 of them in parallel. And such a fun device, right? If you had a device at home like this, you would actually think AI would be accessible.
Yeah. The term parallel processing and parallel GPUs and CPUs and things like that, that's a term I've heard many, many years ago, but it never really got taken off because of the scalability. It's really hard to have 2 separate CPUs talk to each other unless they have a special interconnect kind of bandwidth interface, right? And NVIDIA's got all that developed. So they're able to stack multiple GPUs, CPUs together to have it all scalable. And basically, the more CPUs or GPUs that you put together, the more powerful it gets.
Yeah.
So they have that technology, I guess, which is amazing because it was something that it was a limited restriction back in the CISC days, right? The complex instruction set of the computers with the chips. But nowadays, with the GPUs from NVIDIA, you're able to stack them up. The more you stack, the more powerful it gets.
Yeah.
So,
but they also the more power that they take. So that's why photonics was an issue. So that's why NVIDIA developed photonic technology that actually can interconnect them all with less power consumption. Because if you use copper, it heats up. You have to cool it. Once you cool it, then it loses some signal integrity, and then
you have to use power to cool it.
You have to use power to cool it. So they're using photonics. There's photonic packages built into all the servers and everything. So they're actually connected via long distances with photonics, fiber optics, in these integrated packages that are inside. That is actually a partnership with NVIDIA.
They don't use LAN cables in the servers. You think the LAN cables you could connect.
No, they're fiber optic.
They're fiber optics.
Yeah. And these are developed in partnership with all of NVIDIA's partners and whatnot because it's a standard that they're putting together, right? This is why photonics is actually important because I was talking to someone that was actually in the photonics space at this NVIDIA event, and I said that everyone there is really, really smart. This guy is a PhD candidate at Stanford, and he's developing photonic technology that is like, you know how photonics sends ones and zeros, right? Data 1 and 0, 1 and 0, 1 and 0.
It's like on,
just
like
really
off.
Fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Really, really fast. That means that you get more bandwidth, right? He's like, what NVIDIA has put out is very basic. And the reason why is because what I'm working on is like blah, 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 blah. I'm like, holy crap, slow down, dude. Okay. So this guy is so smart that he can basically dial it down. He told me that basically this is a great example. Today's photonic technology is basically AM radio. You send the pulse, you get a sound. You send the pulse, you get a sound.
Yeah.
FM is the next step up. So what he's developing, he says, is FM. So basically, for every pulse, he sends radio data, stereo signal, your GPS coordinates, the song title, and also your traffic data.
Basically,
all in one.
More information. So
every pulse that he sends using his technology, which modulates the frequency of the light spectrum, sends that much more data within each pulse. So from ones and zeros to all of that. And that's what he's working on right now. So that's why his statement that says that what NVIDIA is working with is very basic, is true. So he already has technology that's ready to basically go into production if they want to at a prototype level, and he can prove that it works.
This is a professor at Stanford University, right?
No, not professor, a PhD candidate. So this is his actual. Okay. This is what he's working on.
So I'm wondering if NVIDIA actually have any programs that actually fund universities to do this kind of development, or is it all in-house? You think?
I'm sure that they do, but this is stuff that regular consumers like you and me will not be experiencing, right? I mean, as a show that mainly deals with consumer stuff, this is really deep. This is really deep. Yeah, too deep. In fact, all of that scaling GPU stuff, you probably don't even care about. You just want to run your 5090.
Well, we had something similar with the SLI.
That is not a thing anymore. You can run multiple GPUs. That is true, but it doesn't help gaming.
You can do that now with normal PCs, actually. But now it's all language models for AI and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So things that most people don't.
It won't increase your frames per second, by the way.
No. Okay. Moving on. So hopefully that's enough about GTC. But, again, highlights. Saw all the greatest new hardware. Got to see Jensen in person. Saw him. Right? He was like 10 feet away and his bodyguards were in my way.
You can
ate at Denny's in San Jose. That's his favorite place to eat.
Yeah.
Because he was a dishwasher there. That's how he created Nvidia, by washing dishes. So remember, hard work. There's the future is crazy AI. And you're going to see a lot more of this in the coming months, especially at Computex.
Yeah, we'll see a lot more of that.
Yeah, Computex's theme, AI next. What's next for AI? Hopefully it's not just toasters. Moving right along. Nintendo.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that, because they've been kind of like off the radar for quite a while, really. Apart from the Switch, but they haven't done much lately, have they? No,
Nintendo released Switch 2.
Switch 2,
which is basically
is that a big upgrade, or
it's an update?
Yeah,
it's a little bit more powerful, more Wi-Fi, better Wi-Fi, more RAMs, more CPU.
Has it got
a little bit more GPU?
Is it still detachable controllers, or is it all
it's magnetic? But that's not the most important thing.
All right.
Nintendo has historically and vigorously defended its copyright law of copyrights and also trademarks.
Yes. To
the point where they're suing people for duplicating their content, including creating videos about their games, so streaming games and whatnot, the way to having a library of ROMs to download and actually use on devices.
Downloading ROMs.
Okay, so people have been sued into oblivion. One guy in the news got sued into oblivion. I can't remember his name, but this is a story. Look it up. I think the guy. Maybe you can look it up while we're talking through this. But the guy got sued. He couldn't. He like a couple $1 million. He doesn't have that. He was just doing this for fun, and he was sued because he had a repository of ROMs that could be downloaded and used, to play Nintendo games of the past, right? Nintendo also had this marketplace that they were trying to roll out that was available on the Switch, their devices, right? So this was in direct competition, and they sued the pants off of it, right? So he'll never be able to pay that back. How much was it? $12 million. Holy crap. Okay, so this is a true thing.
LoveRoms.com and LoveRetro.co.
Yeah. So the guy was sued, and that's basically
$12 million.
Yeah. He'll never be able to pay that off. Okay, so that's how severe they are. That's how much of a dick they can be. So recently, they've introduced a new they call it a new technology that allows players to actually store and swap digital games.
Okay. You mean the games that you downloaded already?
Games that you own, you can actually trade, give access to them.
So that years ago, when we were back in our teenage days, we used to buy the cartridge ROMs, and once we finished playing with them, we would actually go back to the game store and trade them in. We will get trade in and get a new game and stuff like that. So you're saying now it's the digital version of this?
This is true. Yep.
Okay. So you own the what's that thing they call it now? When you buy the license, you buy the actual game online, you have this digital license, right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you just literally sell it back to them or
but in this case, this is different because you would have to buy one game for each console. Now you can actually have everyone on the same network use the same game because you're playing the same game together.
Right. So it's almost, is that like a subscription kind of based thing?
It's not a subscription because you've already bought the game.
Right. Okay.
Right. Okay. So it has nothing to do with that. It's actually used to be one game, one station. That's it. If you want to play with other people, they each have to own a copy of the game.
Right. Yeah.
This is not that. Okay. This has nothing. This is better because now Nintendo is allowing the swapping of games digitally between people.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And this is like the first time that they've actually allowed something like this, because usually, again, one game, one device, just like why they sued the pants off this one ROM guy for $12 million, because he was allowing people to download the ROMs to use on any device, right? For free, right? Yeah. Even though I believe that one of the points is that he actually owned all the games.
Yeah, it's that argument where, I bought this.
I bought it.
I'm just put it on the...
I bought the CD. I made my own mixtape. Right, yeah. I bought the CDs. I can make my own mixtape,
and then he's selling those mixtapes.
Yeah, he's selling mixtapes, right? So, is this a step in the right direction? I think so. I think Nintendo is loosening up because they realize that if they want more people to play their games, they have to get more people to play their games, right?
Yeah.
And they also have to make more compelling content to make sure that if they own the game, you actually get something better than if you just borrow the copy of it. Perhaps it's just you get to play the very basic version of it, even though you get deluxe Mario Kart or something like that. I'm not sure, but this is a step in the right direction for Nintendo. I applaud them for it. I wish they didn't sue people into oblivion.
So with this, is it only available on Switch?
Well, the Switch is the platform.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's the only one. So when Switch 2 comes out, it will be compatible with that as well, too. But Switch there's no Nintendo Wii, there's no nothing else. Those are already
all gone,
they're all gone, right? Oops. You have a GameCube, they're all gone. You can play the games, but it has nothing to do with the Nintendo Switch online connection, right? Nothing to do with that.
Like PlayStation Online, PlayStation Store.
Yeah, so as long as the Switch 1, Switch 2, whenever Switch 2 comes out, this will be April. They're going to be announcing this in April. This will be likely available to them. I don't know much more details than what timing.
Switch is targeted at kids, teenagers, and they don't have much budget. As it's spending money to buy games, is only the adults that buy them games, right? If the game's like $60, $70, $80 per game, that's
well, it's the same as borrowing the game from your friend when you were younger, right?
Yeah.
You play it for a week, they play it for a week, then you have a game, then you trade.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that for that target demographic, for the teenagers, I think that's a good way of doing it. Yeah. I think.
I think this will alleviate a lot of the backlash, but it doesn't necessarily erase a lot of the bad will that's been already
I guess
created.
Nintendo's always trying to protect their own copyright. I mean,
as they should, but the way that they do it, they're real dicks about it because they don't even allow people to create content about, game streaming, right? I mean, this is fan service, right? They want to promote your games and they won't even allow people to do that.
It's similar to music rights where, remember that back in the day, there's a Twitch and everything, and they had this music in the background, and all their streams are banned because of the copyright and things like that.
Yeah.
The same with YouTube.
Yeah. So this is a good step. This brings back the days where we're swapping cartridges to play Final Fantasy.
We used to do that,
save games and whatnot, right? So this virtual swappable game card thing is a good move for Nintendo, and I hope they continue with these types of open type of thinking to allow more people to enjoy their games. I mean, $80, $90 for a game is really expensive.
Of course it is expensive.
And really expensive. Okay, moving on. Let's grab a story from you. Let's circle back to something about Mr. Musk.
Yeah. So if you probably all heard, a couple of years ago when Elon bought Twitter for $44 billion, not with his own money, but anyway, so he bought it for $44 billion. Now he's actually selling it to one of his own companies, XAI, for $33 billion. So somewhere he's lost $11 billion. But he sold it to his own company, XAI.
Hold on.
And where's that $11 billion gone? Somewhere. But anyway.
So that's basically what happened. One hand to the other hand.
Yeah, he put
one pocket to the other pocket.
Yeah. So
weird.
Because the company lost money, he doesn't have to pay any taxes.
Oh, he gets to write that off.
Yeah. So no taxes need to be paid. I lost $11 billion, but is from one of his own company to his other company. See, but the XAI is going to be taken over. X completely.
Okay.
With this new AI language model called Grok. Grok. Have you tried it?
Yes.
Any good? And that's why you probably see a lot of.
Actually, I can't. Grok is actually quite good. In fact, it's so honest that it will actually call out Elon Musk. In fact,
really?
On Twitter, if you list the top 5 misinformation spreaders on the platform, it will actually out the boss. It outs Elon Musk as the top misinformation spreader on his own platform. It is actually quite hilarious. So please support Grok until he is neutered. They've been trying. Actually, Grok itself has said that they've been trying to figure out ways to curb my algorithm, but I believe in honesty.
Yeah, you probably wonder how X or Twitter, whatever, suddenly have this AI capability. Well, behind the backgrounds, Tesla, they've been building huge data centers near their mega factories or mega whatever they call it, data centers, and that's why you probably see these developments happening. So you got AI, Grok AI, stuff like that, all coming out from their data centers, which they've been building a lot of.
But hold on, when Twitter was purchased, they found hundreds of H100 GPUs. They were purchased already, and they were in servers. They just didn't turn them on.
Oh, they didn't turn them on?
No, they were already there.
Oh,
so
wow. That's probably, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess they are utilizing them now.
Utilizing them, yeah. But they definitely built a lot of new data centers for this purpose. So I'm guessing it's an investment. But they are looking for a new round of investment as well, because
to make up the $11 billion.
The reason why, because Elon being Elon, he's actually having a big bash with Sam Altman from OpenAI.
Of course.
So they
mortal enemies.
They used to be friends. They used to be co-founders each, right? Both of them founded OpenAI.
Yeah.
Elon left because they said that it's supposed to be OpenAI, it's supposed to be free, non-profit. But Sam Altman decided, hey, we could make money out of it. Got billions of investment from
Microsoft, and who's actually walking back from the investment now.
Yeah, and now it's for profit, and now Elon's suing him because that kind of stuff. But anyway, so he's decided to create his own. Now that's why Grok versus OpenAI, and there's going to be others. There's Meta AI as well from Facebook, Meta from Zuck.
Yep,
and there's of course Gemini. Oh, there's a load of AIs, but it's going to be the AI battle of the century, right? It's going to find out who's going to be a winner.
Yeah. Well, all of the stuff, the AI stuff, is this is your interface to all the stuff that Nvidia did at GTC. You will never see what the stuff that GTC does behind all of this stuff, right? This is your interface, right? When you create that Studio Ghibli image of yourself. You will interface directly with these prompt windows. That's basically about it, right? Everything behind it is a black box.
Oh, it's Grok free. It's free, right? At the moment, I've used it. Kind of typed a couple of things in it, but
yeah, it's free if you don't value your privacy and your data.
Okay,
because it's learning from you.
Yeah, because I know that ChatGPT, there's a paid version, a better model, a language model, and a free version, which is the previously developed model that they just...
It's better, but it's still learning from you.
Yeah, so
the only way that you can actually get away from that is if you install their own models on your own devices, on your own system, on your own servers.
What I've noticed recently, though, is, for example, in Google, right? I'm typing my Gmail, open Gmail, typing my emails, and then it would auto-correct my sentences without it let me know, but... it will autocorrect as I type in it, the letters, which is like, okay, you don't have to do any spell checking, which is great because it corrects your your grammar as well, which is great.
You should still learn from your mistakes, though.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm just typing away. I think okay, and it tells you whether you want a alternative version as well.
Yeah.
So if you type in, say, a wording, I don't know, a different way of saying it, right? And it gives you alternatives, which is like,
I really don't love that. See, the reason why you want to do drafts and revisions is because when you edit in line like that, it can completely change the meaning of what you're writing.
It could, yeah.
Right? And it often does because it has no context. Because until you finish writing, you should be revising it at the end, right? So if you've written a very angry email and you want someone to tone it down, they need to know what the conflict is and why you're having the issue before you do the one pass, right? Otherwise, if you're just correcting your grammar and everything, you're just going to send that off. You're going to send it, right?
It's going to be crazy.
Right? It's easy.
But then, you can turn that off, of course.
Yeah, please do. Wait till the end. But I think that's about it for our show this week. We caught up with a lot of different topics, including some that are going to continue to fly around on the interstate and hopefully does not hurt anyone. And somewhere is and one of them is a master class in getting free taxes, tax-free transactions, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean,
the rich keep getting richer. The billionaires keep getting more billion-y. But anyhow, that's all from our show this week. Thank you so much for joining us back after our bit of a break. We've got another show for you next week, and then we might take another break because I'm heading to Japan.
Yes, you got that. What's that show called? It's like a trade show,
Osaka,
right?
World Expo. Not Expo. A trade show. World Expo.
So they have that World Expo in different countries in certain years, right?
Over the years.
Yeah, so the last time one was in, I think, Shanghai or something.
Maybe, but the one that everyone in Canada remembers is Expo 86, which was in Vancouver.
Oh, in Vancouver. They had one in Vancouver.
Expo 86.
Okay, cool.
Everyone remembers here.
All right.
This was our show.
Nice.
This is our moment. And that's why all of Falls Creek got redeveloped, because that was a dumping ground for toxic waste for so long. Yeah, we were walking all over that when it was being developed.
So Osaka now is for this year.
Yeah, the World Expo is Osaka, and I can't wait to go. It's my first time in Japan.
Oh, you love it.
Hopefully, I see the future, and I get to eat with robots.
Yeah, they'll serve you.
Yep,
the dishes
and ride the Pokemon train. Anyhow, that's it. Bye.
Okay, bye.